Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something today. When that man pops back up after he's been silent, after he disappeared on you, oh, you got to watch him now. You got to look at him with brand new eyes. See, too many of y'all, and I say this with love, you get excited just because he texted, "Hey, stranger," or "I've been thinking about you." Now, when he reaches out after a long silence, the first and most powerful thing you can do is stay calm and not rush. See, the natural reaction, especially when you've been waiting, hoping, or even hurting in that silence, is to jump. Your heart starts racing, your mind starts spinning, and every part of you wants to grab at that message or that call like it's a lifeline. But that's where most people go wrong, because when you move too fast, you're not moving with power. You're moving with emotion. And emotion, when it's unchecked, will lead you right back into the same cycle that had you broken in the first place. Staying calm is not about playing games. It's not about pretending you don't care. It's about protecting your peace and giving yourself space to think. Because let's be real, when someone goes silent on you, that silence didn't come easy. It brought questions. It brought pain. It brought nights where you wondered what you did wrong. So now, when he suddenly decides to reach out, you owe it to yourself to take a breath and not let that old pain make you desperate for quick comfort. You are bigger than a text. You are more valuable than a sudden call, and you deserve to respond from a place of strength, not weakness. When you stay calm, you give yourself the gift of time. Time to ask the right questions. Why is he reaching out now? What has changed? Is this about genuine feelings, or is this about convenience? Because when you rush, you skip those questions. You skip that process, and 9 times out of 10, you end up right back in the arms of disappointment. But when you stay still, when you hold your response, when you breathe and slow down, you start to see things clearer. You start to remember the silence, not in anger, but in wisdom. That silence taught you something. It taught you what it feels like to be left wondering. It taught you the importance of communication. It showed you how strong you are even when nobody's checking in on you. So when he reaches out, don't let the sound of his message drown out the lessons of your own growth. Don't let a sudden hate undo months of healing. Staying calm means you honor your journey. You tell yourself, "I will not let my loneliness make decisions for me." You tell yourself, "I will choose my response based on what's best for my heart, not based on my need for attention." And that right there, that's real power. That's what separates someone who keeps repeating the same heartbreak from someone who finally breaks the cycle and steps into something better. It's also about controlling the narrative. When you rush, you give him control. He says, "Hey," and you say, "Hey," right back like you've been waiting on his word. But when you pause, when you breathe, when you take your time, you remind both him and yourself that you are not sitting by the phone. You've got a life, you've got peace, and if he wants to be part of that life again, it's going to be on your terms now, not his. Staying calm sends a message without you even saying a word. I'm not desperate. I'm deliberate. Every second you take before you respond is a second where you regain your power. Every deep breath is a reminder that you have choices. And choices made in calm are always stronger than choices made in chaos. So even if your heart is beating fast, even if your mind is screaming, answer him now. You tell yourself, "No, I move in peace. I move with power. I will not rush. I will watch. I will listen. And then when I am ready, I will decide, because at the end of the day, your calm is your crown. And when you wear that crown right, no man, no message, no sudden comeback can shake you. When he reaches out after silence, the smartest thing you can do is take a step back and assess his intentions. Because not every message that shows up on your phone is meant for your good. Some people reach out because they miss you, yes, but some people reach out because they miss the benefits, the comfort, the attention you gave them, not you as a person. And if you don't take the time to really look at what's behind his words, you could end up walking right back into confusion disguised as connection. See, intentions are everything. A man can say all the right things, but if his heart and his actions don't line up, it's just noise. And when someone has gone silent, when they've left you hanging, their sudden return needs to be examined carefully. You've got to become a little detective for your own peace. You've got to read between the lines. Ask yourself, is he reaching out because he finally realized my worth, or is he reaching out because things didn't work out somewhere else? Is he here because he's ready to do the work to build something real with me? Or is he just bored, lonely, and looking for a quick ego boost? You have every right to question. And don't let anybody make you feel guilty for that. Too many people get caught up in the sweet words, I miss you, I was thinking about you, I made a mistake. But words are cheap if they don't come with real change. And the only way you'll know if there's change is if you slow down and assess instead of jumping right back in. Watch how he moves. Does he ask about your well-being, your feelings, your life? Or is the conversation all about him? Does he mention the silence, take responsibility for disappearing? Or does he act like nothing happened? Because if he can't even acknowledge the hurt he caused, how can you trust that he's back with good intentions? Intentions show up in patterns, not promises. Anybody can make a promise in the heat of a lonely night, but patterns, consistent effort, respect, accountability, that's where you find out the truth. So when he reaches out, give yourself permission to be observant. Don't be so hungry for connection that you ignore the signs. Pay attention to whether he's listening as much as he's talking. See if his actions match his words over time, not just in one emotional moment. And here's something else. Sometimes assessing his intentions means looking at your own. Are you hoping so badly that he's changed that you're willing to overlook the red flags? Are you so tired of waiting that you'll accept any kind of return, even if it's half-hearted? Be honest with yourself, because clarity starts inside you. If you want something real, you have to be willing to face the truth, even if it's not the fairy tale you hope for. When you take the time to assess, you shift the power dynamic. You're no longer sitting there waiting to be chosen. You're doing the choosing. You're deciding if this person deserves access to your heart again. And that's a powerful place to be. You deserve someone whose intentions are clear, whose words are backed by consistent action, and who values your time and your trust enough to handle them with care. So when he reaches out after silence, let your first response be wisdom, not weakness. Watch him closely, listen carefully, and don't be afraid to take your time, because your heart is precious, and not everyone who comes back deserves a second chance to hold it. When he reaches out after silence, the most important thing you must hold on to is your self-worth. Because in that moment, Your mind will try to take you back to the place where you felt rejected, where you felt small, where you questioned if you were enough. But let me remind you right now, you were always enough. His silence didn't define your value, and his sudden message doesn't increase it. Your worth was never up for debate, not then, not now, not ever. And until you believe that deep in your spirit, you will always find yourself bending, chasing, and shrinking just to get love that should have been given freely. It's easy to forget your worth when you're hurting. Silence can feel like the loudest rejection. It echoes in your mind, makes you question everything about yourself, your looks, your words, your choices. And when he finally reaches out, it can feel like relief, like validation, like maybe now you can stop doubting. But that's where you have to catch yourself, because your worth is not dependent on who decides to call or text you today. Your worth is steady, constant, unchanging, even when people fail to recognize it. You are valuable because of who you are, not because of who chooses to stay or who decides to come back. So when he reaches out, I want you to stand in that truth. Don't let loneliness trick you into thinking that any attention is better than no attention. Don't let your desire for love make you settle for less than respect. Because there's a big difference between a man who genuinely sees your value and one who just wants to use your kindness for his comfort. And if you don't value yourself first, you'll always be at the mercy of someone else's opinion of you. You'll find yourself tolerating behavior that doesn't honor you just because you're afraid of being alone again. Valuing your self-worth means you set the standard. It means you don't entertain every offer that comes your way just because you're tired of waiting. It means you're willing to be alone for a season rather than lower your bar just to have someone sitting next to you. It means you remind yourself that love is not about begging, chasing, or convincing someone to stay. Love is about mutual respect, consistency, and care. And anyone who comes back into your life needs to come with that energy, or not at all. And let's be real, the temptation to forget your worth is strongest when you feel lonely, when the nights are long, when your phone is quiet, when everyone else seems to have someone. That's when that message from him hits the hardest. That's when it feels like maybe giving him another chance will finally fill that empty space. But I need you to look deeper. I need you to see that choosing yourself, even in loneliness, is an act of power. That saying no to what doesn't serve you is not losing, it's winning. It's protecting your peace, your heart, your future. Because every time you honor your self-worth, you teach the world how to treat you. You send a message that you will not settle, you will not shrink, and you will not be played with. And the right person, the person who truly deserves you, will recognize that and rise to meet your standard. So when he reaches out, before you respond, check in with yourself. Ask yourself if this situation aligns with the love you know you deserve. Ask yourself if saying yes to him is saying yes to your value, or if it's betraying it just to avoid being alone. Because you deserve more than recycled affection. You deserve more than temporary comfort. You deserve real love that sees you, chooses you, and stays. When he reaches out after silence, this is the moment where your boundaries must stand tall. Because without boundaries, you are just giving open access to your heart, your mind, and your time to anyone who feels like walking in and out. And you already know how that story goes. Confusion, pain, disappointment. Boundaries are not walls to shut people out, but they are doors with locks, and you get to decide who gets the key. And when someone has gone silent on you, disappeared without explanation, and now suddenly wants to come back, that's when your boundaries are tested the most. It's easy to let your guard down when you've been missing someone. It's easy to let emotion make decisions for you in those moments. But this is where you have to stand firm and remember that protecting your peace is more important than pleasing anybody else. Setting boundaries means you decide what kind of behavior is acceptable and what is not. It means you don't let someone who caused you pain return without addressing it. You don't allow them to just slide back into your life as if nothing happened. That's not harsh, that's self-respect. If he's serious about coming back into your life, he should expect boundaries. He should expect to be held accountable for the silence. He should expect that access to you is not free. It comes with responsibility, with effort, with consistency. And if he's not willing to meet that, then he's not coming back for the right reasons. Because a man with real intentions will not be offended by your boundaries. He will honor them. He will see them as proof that you value yourself. And if he truly values you too, he will rise to meet that standard. You have every right to say, I need time before I decide if I want to reconnect. You have every right to ask the hard questions, to expect clear answers, and to demand consistency before you open your heart again. Setting boundaries means you don't respond out of fear of losing him. You respond out of love for yourself. It means you refuse to be rushed, manipulated, or guilt-tripped into forgiving and forgetting without real change. And let me tell you, the people who benefited from your lack of boundaries before will push back when you finally set them. They might call you difficult, cold, or even accuse you of playing games. But that's not your problem. Your job is not to make them comfortable. Your job is to make sure your emotional health is protected. Boundaries are not about punishment. They are about protection. They protect your time from being wasted, your heart from being broken again, and your mind from unnecessary stress. If he truly cares, he will understand that rebuilding trust takes time. He will show patience, not pressure. He will prove his intentions through actions, not just empty promises. But if he gets defensive, dismissive, or tries to guilt you into lowering your standards, then you already have your answer. Boundaries reveal who is serious about you and who is only serious about their own needs. So when he reaches out, let your boundaries speak before your emotions do. Let your standards lead the conversation. And remember, every time you enforce a boundary, you're not pushing love away. You're making room for the right love to find you. The kind that respects your heart, honors your time, and sees your worth without needing reminders. And that kind of love is always worth the wait. When he reaches out after silence, your greatest strength is to communicate clearly, not emotionally, not out of desperation, not with hidden hopes that he'll just magically understand, but with calm, direct, and firm words that leave no room for confusion, because unclear communication is how people end up back in situations that broke them the first time. It's how old wounds get reopened and cycles keep repeating. So if you decide to respond, let your voice be steady, your message be clear, and your words reflect the strength you've gained in his absence. Clear communication starts with knowing what you want. Too many times people respond before they even ask themselves, what do I really want from this conversation? What outcome am I expecting? They go in blind, led by emotion, and then wonder why things get messy. But when you are clear within yourself, you can be clear with him. If you need an explanation for his silence, say it. If you expect him to take accountability before anything moves forward, say it. If you are unsure whether you even want him back in your life, express that uncertainty honestly instead of pretending to be fine. This is not the time for playing it cool, hinting, or hoping he reads your mind, because people only treat you according to the boundaries and expectations you set. If you let him come back without addressing the silence, he'll believe it wasn't a big deal. If you act like everything is okay when it's not, you give him permission to continue the same behavior. That's why clear communication is your protection. Make sure your needs are heard and your standards are visible. It filters out anyone who isn't serious about respecting you. And clear doesn't mean cruel. It doesn't mean shouting or attacking. It means speaking truth in a way that is firm but calm. It's saying, when you disappeared, it hurt me, and I need to understand why that happened before I can decide how to move forward. It's saying, I value my peace now, so if you're back, I need to see consistency, not empty promises. These are the kind of words that protect you from being dragged back into chaos. They create a space where real conversation can happen, not just sweet talk and surface level apologies. It also means being ready to hear the truth, even if it's not what you hope for. Because when you communicate clearly, you open the door for real answers, and sometimes those answers might reveal that he's not ready, not serious, or not capable of giving you what you deserve. But that's okay. Clarity is always better than confusion. Knowing where you stand is always better than living in false hope. So if you're brave enough to demand clear communication, be brave enough to accept what comes with it. And remember, clear communication is a two-way street. Watch how he responds to your honesty. Does he meet you with the same level of openness? Or does he dodge your questions, make excuses, or get defensive? A man who is truly back with the right intentions won't be afraid of your clarity. He will appreciate it. He will step up and match your honesty with his own. But if he gets uncomfortable or tries to flip the script on you, take that as a sign that he's not ready for the level of relationship you're asking for. So when he reaches out, don't let your response be foggy or filled with hidden expectations. Let it be crystal clear. Let him know what you need, what you expect, and what you will no longer tolerate. That's not weakness, that's strength. That's self-respect in action. And the right man will hear you, respect you, and rise to meet you there. And if he doesn't, then your clear words will have done their job. They will have protected your peace and saved your heart from more wasted time. When he reaches out after silence, the most powerful thing you can do is take your time to decide. Don't let the rush of emotions push you into an answer before you're ready. Don't let loneliness trick you into thinking you must respond right away just because he finally showed up, because this is your heart we're talking about. This is your peace, your future, your emotional well-being. And none of that should be gambled away on a quick decision made in a moment of weakness. You have every right to pause, to reflect, and to take as much time as you need before you decide if this person deserves a place in your life again. See, when someone disappears and then comes back, it creates pressure. Pressure to respond, pressure to forgive, pressure to pretend like you're unbothered. But you don't owe anybody that. You owe yourself the gift of time. Time to think clearly, time to check in with your feelings, and time to weigh whether letting him back in will truly bring you peace or just more pain. Because not every return is a blessing. Some are just repeats of old lessons you've already outgrown. And you can only see the difference when you slow down and look at the situation with fresh, honest eyes. Taking your time also gives you the chance to observe. Watch his actions over days and weeks, not just hours. Anybody can say the right thing in one conversation, but real intentions show up in consistency. If he's serious, he will respect your pace. He won't pressure you to decide right away. He won't make you feel guilty for needing space. A man who is truly ready to make things right will understand that rebuilding trust takes time. And if he can't wait, if he tries to rush you into forgiving and forgetting, that's a red flag in itself. Because love is patient. And anything that's real will not be afraid of a little time. Sometimes taking your time will also reveal your own heart more clearly. Maybe at first you feel excited that he's back, but as you sit with it longer, you start to notice the anxiety creeping back in, the fear that he might leave again, the doubt about whether things will really be different this time. Pay attention to those feelings. They are signals from your intuition, warning you not to ignore the lessons of the past. And you can only hear that inner wisdom when you give yourself the silence and space to listen. And let's be honest, sometimes the temptation is strong to just jump back in, especially if you've been missing him for a long time. But remind yourself that you've survived his absence once, and you can survive a little longer while you take the time you need. You've already done the hard part by enduring the silence. Now is not the time to abandon your growth for the comfort of quick validation. You've come too far to rush back into something that might undo your healing. So give yourself permission to pause, to step back, to evaluate with wisdom, not emotion. And don't feel bad about it. People who care about you will honor your need for time. People who are only in it for their own benefit will get impatient, and that will tell you everything you need to know. This is your life, your heart, your peace, and no one else gets to dictate how fast you move when it comes to protecting those things. So when he reaches out, take a deep breath, hold your ground, and take your time. Because love that is meant for you will not rush you. It will wait until you're fully ready, fully sure, and fully at peace with your decision. Would you also like a powerful opening speech now that ties in smoothly with these expanded keynotes?